2 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not.
Welcome. You tuned into the Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. I'm your man, A.J. Woodson. Damien K. Jones will be with us right away. This is episode 410. First things first, yes, push the anniversary issue back another week, so you have one this week to get your ads in. You can reach us at blackwestchester at gmail.com, find out the prices and everything. But you have 1 week to get the ads in for the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary issue. Let's see. A couple of things going on. So real quick, we did a couple of articles this week I wanted to go over. So first off, the NAACP regional director, Westchester Mid-Hudson regional director, issued a statement condemning Mike Lawler. One second. Yes, so the NAACP regional director Wilbur Aldridge, along with several other elected officials, Nicole Hines, president of the Nyack branch of the NAACP, and Willie Trotman, president of the Spring Valley branch, basically issued a statement. Lawmakers must uphold the highest standards of fairness and tolerance and unimpeachable conduct because they have the power to impact everyone's life. On CNN, Congressman Lawler recently suggested that he was not wearing blackface in a photo that was taken in 2006 that had recently appeared in the media, and he was sorry if he offended anyone. As an 8th-century-old organization dedicated to protection of the interests of the community that has been historically discriminated against, the Nyack Spring Valley branches of NAACP, along with the regional director of the Mid-Hudson Westchester branches, would like to inform the congressman that he is in fact was wearing blackface, and we and the community are offended. Goes on and on and on. So this happened from a 20 years happened 20 years ago, when then a young Mike Lawler was dressed as his musical idol, Michael Jackson, for Halloween. So he issued a statement describing himself as a lifelong Michael Jackson superfan who was attempting to pay homage to the pop star. When attempting to imitate Michael's legendary dance moves at a college Halloween party 18 years ago, the ugly path of blackface was the furthest thing from my mind. Let me be clear, this is not that, he said, adding that the costume was intended to be a genuine homage to one of his childhood idols. I am a student of history, and for anyone who takes offense to the photo, I'm sorry. Lawler said Thursday, all you can do is live and learn, and I appreciate everyone's grace on this um, grace along the way. So he doesn't deny that he slightly darkened his face for the costume in which he dressed like Michael Jackson in 2006 Halloween party when he was 20 years old. Mondia Jones, who's running against him, whose seat he has, right, whose former seat he has, said Mike Lawler knew exactly what he was doing. And then right after that, um, there was a letter that came to us. We received another statement from, let's see, um, some black people who did not take offense to it and support um, Mike Lawler. If I can pull that up. All this is on Black Westchester's front page. You can see it for yourself. Let's see if I can pull this up. Okay. Here it goes. So, a civil rights group who call themselves uh, um, the Committee for Justice, CFJ, Black Civil Rights Group, they sent their statement. It says, as a leading voice and activist group against racism in Westchester County, the Committee for Justice became aware of the news making rounds regarding a photo of Mike Lawler, representative of the 17th Congressional District, that alleges at a party back in the college days in 2006 in blackface portraying the late entertainer Michael Jackson. Several leaders of the CFJ looked at the photo in question and have drawn the following conclusions. First, as an all-black organization, not one member was offended by the photo. Apparently, the definition of blackface has been grossly distorted to manipulate black people into being angry for no other reason than to support a political agenda. While very young Mike Lawler appeared darker than normal, it was a far cry from blackface. It's unfortunate that a black candidate so fortunate that a black candidate for Congress, Mondia Jones, and a leading civil rights organization, the NAACP, would attempt to manipulate black people's past and ongoing pain for political ends. Those ends are not to vote. Those ends are to vote for Mondia Jones and to Mike Lawler's congressional seat. We are disappointed. We're disappointed that the NAACP decided to be a part of this disingenuous campaign against Representative Lawler. Many people pay dues to the NAACP to be the voice of the people of color. Members of the Committee for Justice met with the NAACP early this year seeking an ally to help save a public housing building, Bowman Towers, and community center from possible displacement and to protect tenants' rights. A few of those tenants attended the meeting and spoke to Mr. Wilbur Aldridge, regional director of the NAACP. Was part of that meeting. The NAACP refused to help. Meanwhile, Congressman Mike Lawler, when asked to help assign staff to assist the residents, mostly black and brown people, Congressman Lawler himself wrote several letters to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and the U.S. Attorney's Southern District in support of tenants' rights. Those letters resulted in top-ranking HUD officials coming to Peekskill to meet with CFJ leaders. And we are happy to say that not only are Bowman Towers and the community center safe from elimination, the residents are now having a direct say in the policies that affect their lives in an amazing democratic gain. With regards to the photo, the members of the Committee for Justice never met 20-year-old Michael Jackson superfan Mike Lawler, who used to be very youthful and flawed and lends to honor his idol. We know Michael Lawler, who has apologized and made it clear that he is not proud of the past behavior and has indeed gone on to fight for all his constituents. That is not the behavior of the racist. The Committee for Justice stands with Mike Lawler because he has stood with the African American community, and in truth, we reach out to Mondaire Jones when he was congressman, and he never met with the black leaders. So I just wanted to share that so you hear both sides. I want to see if I can pull up. Is it possible for me? I think I have the picture. I just want y'all to see for yourselves if it's possible. How do I? Nope. Setting. I'm trying to share. Trying to see if I can share something. I haven't done this in a minute, Damon.
What are you trying to share?
Hey, welcome to the show, Damon. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm using the new mic and everything and all that. So,
all right.
And I can only hear with my headphones. I can't hear with on my computer nothing without my headphones. So I'm like, yo,
really
curious. I'm curious to see the photo. Yes, I am trying to put the photo up right now. Please give me a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't do blackface when you're doing Michael Jackson. I was thinking, somebody else. When you say Michael Jackson, how can you do blackface? I don't know. Somebody explain it to me that's watching. Can you do blackface and imitate Michael Jackson?
Well, now his face
maybe the
is
old
dark.
Michael Jackson, maybe the Thriller Michael Jackson.
His face is darker, but with the organization who sent the letter said that's still not blackface. What blackface is?
Well, what blackface? Net blackface is tar, baby, tar black blackface. So, well,
okay, Damon, I just text you the photo. See if you can pull it up.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Oh, you don't have your phone with you? Yeah. So again, very important election. And for those who don't know, Mike Lawler is the Republican congressman that served the 17th district. Is a seat that was once held by the Democratic Mondaire Jones. Mondaire Jones is running to regain the seat. So let me clear that up too. I wanted to show both sides, the NAACP, what they said, and also, there are some black people who don't agree and are specifically calling out the NAACP for
hold on a second.
Cancel.
I'm trying to. I gotta turn it into a PDF.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You found it?
Yeah, I got it. Great.
Okay. Because I don't know where I saved it to. I just saved it on my computer just now, and I'm not sure where I saved it. So anyway, I want people to, you hear a lot of things. You're going to see a lot of things. That was Mike Lawler in 2006, dressed up and imitating Michael Jackson for a Halloween party. What the Committee for Justice, I think that's what they're called, what they're saying is, yes, Mike may have darkened his face a little bit as Michael Jackson, but this is not what blackface is. I don't think I have to show anybody an example.
No, I think we have to. We
Okay.
cannot assume that people really know what blackface is.
So now we just giving you both sides of the story. It's up to you yourself to make the decision. Does this picture from 2006 at a Halloween party make him a racist with blackface? And there are Black organizations like the one who contacted us, and at least one other in Greenberg, who said Mike Lawler has been very instrumental to helping them, and they were not getting that kind of help from Mondia Jones. So, and we also have a pastor from Mount Vernon who has endorsed Mike Lawler. I believe that's
who.
that.
What?
Wait, I'm trying to see if that's what it was.
Yeah, you gotta turn that off, man.
Turn what? Oh, the volume. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta turn the beat beeps. That shit is loud.
Yeah. I just turned the notifications off.
All right, so that's blackface.
That's what they call blackface.
No, that's blackface.
This is what was a very offensive. White people used to dress up, used to do this, and even early on, Black people couldn't perform on screen, so they would have to do it too to be able to be on the screen at the time. This was very offensive, and this is what the NAACP is saying that Mike Lawler did. This is the picture of that they're complaining about from 2006 Halloween party, dressed up as Michael Jackson, dancing in the whole nine, who was his musical idol. Now, I'm going to leave it to you whether you think what he did falls in the category of that. You've heard what the NAACP said. You heard what a group out of Peekskill, what they had to say about it. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let y'all be the judge. And, y'all do what y'all got to do. You do what you got to do with the information. I read the statement, responded to the NAACP, and you see the pictures. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do and who to vote for, who not to vote for, but that's what it is. And that's pretty much, unless Damon got something else to add, that's pretty much all I have to say on the subject.
No, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not defending Mike Lawler, he apologized, but I believe if I'm not mistaken that this came up before. The issue with him imitating Michael Jackson came up before. So I mean it's politics. We understand how politics does, and whenever one side can get an edge, they're going to try to do it.
So I was mistaken. The bishop from Mount Vernon, she didn't endorse him. She endorsed another Republican. She endorsed the Republican running for district attorney. Bishop Dr. Lynn Middleton endorses John Sarcone. She said, I'm asking all of you to join me in voting for the one Republican that I know and love, my brother John Sarcone, from another mother for Westchester DA. That's going to be in the current issue coming up in the paper, and it'll be on the website. So I show that to say that what does it say? It doesn't make him a racist, but we don't know the motives behind the NAACP resurfacing the picture. But at least the candidate acknowledges how it may have offended others. That's from one of our listeners. So anyway, we're putting it out there, and I read Dr. Bishop. I read the beginning of Bishop Lynn Middleton to show you there's for the Democrats feel all black people are going to vote for them, and in at least two incidences, I'm showing you black people who are supporting the Republican for district attorney, and the Republican who is currently in the congressman in the 17th district, who has made the rounds. I have seen him out and about a lot more than I've ever seen Mondier. But anyway, so what was your question, David? I'm sorry.
Have they debated yet?
They're supposed to debate the NAACP and AK White Greenberg and the AKAs are having a debate, and I believe it includes them. The president Janice Griffin sent me. She texted me over a flyer. That's it. Did she text it to me? She must have emailed it to me. Let's see if I can pull it up on their Facebook page. NAACP. But yeah, they're supposed to be. That is one of the seats that they are. Okay. I'll tell her to text me now. But yeah, please text flyer for debate so I can read on here. Yeah, they're supposed to be coming up. They're having a debate. They're having like three of the candidates. They're having Latimer and the Republican running against him. They're having, I don't remember the other two. It's the Republican and the Democrat, 3 different races coming up. You guys can't be serious. You're actually advancing efforts to whitewash this type of behavior by using the tone of the makeup as a basis for defining it as blackface or not. That comment is from Dr. Bob. I don't know if you've seen me from the beginning, Bob. I'm not whitewashing anything. I read the statement by the NAACP. I read the statement from the activists from Peekskill. Who makes the case that that's not blackface? I showed the picture of what he did, and I showed what blackface is, and I'm leaving the rest of it up to the people. So
in my comment,
I'm not advancing efforts to whitewash this behavior away. I just presented everything, and I'm letting people judge for themselves.
And the fact that I don't see how you could blackface Michael Jackson. And I'm just keeping it 100 because see, we're in the silly season of politics, and we're feeding on people's emotions. And I'm really tired. A lot of these black leadership organizations feeding off of black people's emotions, feeding off of their emotions. And what are we going to do? We're going to run the Mondier? Really? Do not get me started. I'm trying to be nice.
The only thing I did I read what the statement said, and the statement showed how Mike Lawler came to their aid in Peekskill when Mondier didn't, and helped them save a building that's predominantly black people live in from being I guess demolished or whatever it is. I read it out loud. Bowman Towers, and how he's helped in several other areas, and Mondier has never helped. And I just spoke about a person in Greenberg who also spoke about how Lola has helped her organization when Mondier did. And those are the things that I said. So I am not whitewashing this type of behavior by using the tone of the makeup as the basis for defining it as blackface or not. I'm letting people determine it, and I've read what the activist from Peekskill said. So with that, I'm going to move on.
And you have to take it up with the people in Peekskill.
Well,
Because,
I mean,
no. I'm just saying.
No. I'm going to say his brother Daryl Davis. He is proud of him. He's not hiding his name.
What I'm saying is this: we don't live in the district. I don't care. I don't care what people have to say. We don't live in the district. And if an organization of black people have come to the defense of Mike Lawler, that's their business. That's their business. See, we got to start holding people to what they're supposed to do in their district if it affects people in their district. But like I said, this issue was brought up years ago because I remember it. And I wasn't outraged. My feelings wasn't put in a frenzy. As long as he apologized, I was okay. Because how are we holding people up for something 20-something years ago? I'm sure everybody that's listening to the show did something if somebody knew about 20 years ago and brought it up. Somebody wouldn't be okay with it. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, just hold on, AJ, just being a human being. But we get into our feelings with this. And with these politics, and this season of politics is really stupid season. Because I've seen people be attacked just because of their opinion and their reality. And maybe their reality don't agree with your reality. And then I see people just being attacked and shamed because they don't agree with your reality. Black, white, yellow, or indifferent. Conservative, independent, Republican, Democrat. We're really getting into silly season or a silly political culture that we can't disagree civilly and in a humane style that's not disrespectful for one another. Because the reality is, if you're black, it don't matter who's in charge, you're going to still catch hell. And that's just not my feelings. That's just statistics. That's just numbers on where we are as black people today. So, I mean, if the people in Peekskill come to defense to Mike Lawler, that's their business. I don't live there. I don't know what happened. I can only go by what they say happened. We're not making a light of the situation. I'm glad he apologized. But for us to start bringing up things when a person was dumb in college, because we all were dumb in college or in high school. Not defending him. I'm just saying. We're getting in silly season. I disagree with Mike Lawler on policy, on international policy. But we could still have an intelligent conversation on that without being disrespectful. All right, I'm done. No, it's crazy.
I will say, well, two things I would say. One, I am so glad we didn't have social media when I was 20. That's all and a teenager. That's all I would say. But two, while I agree with you on most points, there are a few incidences where things that people have done in the past and they continue to do those things, and you can see that that's their character.
Well,
I do
that's
hold
different.
them to account.
Yeah,
No, Sam. Say, but I want
yeah,
to make that its distinction.
yeah.
According to those in his district, that doesn't represent him now. And I've heard from several people in his district, some Black and brown people that are supporting.
No, I mean that's their business.
Now, I don't know the policies and everything that he does and all that stuff. I do agree with Damon on international issues. That was one or two that I definitely disagree with him on. But I do know from what I hear, he is active in his district. So that's all I can say. Black Westchester showed questionable editorial judgment in the decision to run the story and actually describe the Committee for Justice as a leading. That's how they described themselves, Bob. That was their statement. They called themselves that in their statement, which suggests a large number of Black people are behind them. New upstart growing and emerging would be, no, I did not run a story. I said they're a civil rights organization. They called themselves leading. I did not call themselves a leading group. And I wrote their statement the same way I wrote the NAACP statement. Let me read the rest of what he wrote. Would be more accurate describe a group whose first campaign for social justice took place more than a year ago. The NAACP is a leading civil rights organization. So, Brother Daryl Davis, who is the chair of this organization, does have a history of decades.
Has a long history in Peekskill for fighting for civil rights.
Right, and not just Peekskill, but you know,
right.
He's been fighting. Matter of fact, if he puts his camera on, I'm gonna bring him on the screen and let him say a couple of words. How about that? So he can tell you what this organization is, and I don't have to speak for his organization. As soon as you turn your camera on, he disappeared. If he comes back, I will put him on the screen. So yeah, I think as the editor-in-chief, both statements came back to back, and I posted both statements. And I let the people make their own decision. I didn't promote either statement more than the other. I also wrote Mike Lawler's, what he said in response to this, his apology, which some people, the NAACP said it was an apology. And I wrote what Mondia had to say. Mondia said he knows what he was doing. I wrote what everybody had to say, and I left it up to the people. And I shared it on all the Peekskill groups, and they're talking about it because that's where it matters. I shared it with Dutchess County and Orange County and Putnam County groups because they're there. And I'm going to bring to the screen.
Yeah, what's up?
Mr. Daryl Davis.
Hey guys, I'm sorry.
First off,
thanks for the short notice.
Yeah, I wanted you to just speak on what the Committee for Justice is, and I was accused of questionable editorial justice for calling your organization a leading civil rights organization. So I was explaining that you have a history in activism, but who can tell better than you? So
yeah. No, it's all good.
I also sent Wilbur Albright to invite too, but he didn't accept. So
alrighty. Well, first of all, Mr. Aldridge could confirm the existence of the Committee for Justice since he was a part of a meeting with us earlier this year at the invitation of the Peekskill area NAACP president. So he can confirm we exist. Myself and two members reached out to them, asked them to help us fight for the right for the Housing Authority residents in Peekskill, New York to exist. They decided not to help us, so he can confirm that we exist. But we were founded in 1990. You can Google youth protest security dogs at shopping plaza. That was the founding of the Committee for Justice. 1990. It's on Low HUD. From there, we worked for Al Sharpton when he ran for Senate. He asked us to do security. You know, it's mostly a youth organization. We're a collection of activists. We don't send out press releases and what have you, but it is an organization. I founded. We also were asked by the Mandela parade people to come down and do marshaling for the parade. So yeah, we had the first Black Lives Matter protest in Westchester County in front of Senator Schumer's office that made national news, front page of USA Today. So we're real, we're confirmed. Might not be a bad idea for you guys to interview some of the other leading members at some point.
Yes. Yeah, we will. We definitely will, brother.
So again, and David and I said you personally have a long history of activism. If you want to take a second or two to let our audience know.
Yeah, sure. I actually served as housing authority chairman in Peekskill back in 1982, and it was at that time that we started to fight to exist. Then Mayor George Pataki approached me to co-op public housing, which would have led to mass evictions. We fought it, we won. In 1984, I ran Jesse Jackson's campaign for president in northern Westchester. Peekskill being my hometown, we won Peekskill. I served also as a founding member of the Jan Peek House, which is a homeless shelter in Peekskill. And when George Pataki became governor, Al Sharpton asked me to organize a 2-week march from Harlem to Albany. We marched from city to city for 100 and I think it was 170 miles. Had rallies along the way. Did Black Lives Matters protest. I did radio on WVOX, WLNA, WBNR. I now have a Facebook Live. I have a podcast called Daryl Davis Black and Green on Spotify and every major platform. Let me just add this. You know, I saw David Patterson in the news. Sadly, he and his stepson were assaulted. I worked yeah, he was assaulted. His stepson, Sliwa, I don't remember the kid's first name, had a conflict with some other youth, and they jumped him later on.
Curtis' son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, neither was seriously hurt, but I did a lot of work with David Patterson when he was state senator. I went to Albany. I testified before his committee for anti-bias legislation. We did Rap Against Crack events in Peekskill with Sister Soldier, Dougie Fresh, MC Light, Brand Nubians. We founded the African Festival in Peekskill, African Festival and Parade. Um, I've been busy. We've been fighting to save public housing in Peekskill. I was invited to help housing tenants in New Rochelle and White Plains and Newburgh. So yeah, it's been busy.
Wow. No doubt. Yeah. So I read the NAACP statement. Then I read your statement. I read Mike Lawler's apology. I read what Mondia had to say. And then we showed pictures of the Mike Lawler picture, and we showed pictures of traditional blackface. And I believe in your statement, you said you don't see what Mike Lawler did when he was 20. That didn't offend you. And Mike Lawler is saying that is not black. He understands what blackface is. He said that's not blackface. But he apologized for anybody that is offended. He apologized to them.
Right, and he should have apologized. You know, first of all, it's not blackface. I mean, I've seen blackface. I know what it is. Laurence Olivier used blackface to play Othello. Blackface means black, not there you go. Blackface means black, not like doesn't mean looks like you spent time in a tanning salon. That's what it looks like to me. In my mind, this is a 20-year-old Michael Jackson fanatic who used poor youthful judgment as part of his costume to honor him. But I don't know this 20-year-old kid. I know Mike Lawler, the congressman who came in behind me and wrote 4 very powerful letters, which resulted in public housing and Peekskill that I've been fighting to say for 30 years. empowering the residents. We went to the NAACP when Mondaire Jones was in that congressional seat.
We
With
lost you. Okay.
Mondaire, Congressman Mondaire Jones. He knows who I am. He knows I reached out to him. I hand delivered a letter to him. He was not accessible. He wouldn't help us. And so, I didn't know Mike Lawler, but I knew he was the congressman. And I reached out to him. He was very receptive and met with his staff and wrote very strong letters. I wrote a long letter to HUD and to the U.S. Attorney and the Justice Department about a 30-year campaign to disenfranchise the Black community in Peekskill, including racial profiling, including not allowing tenants to sit on the housing board, which is mandated, including applying for federal funding for a poor community and the money never getting there, including eyewitnesses who said, I work for Parks and Rec. They bought new equipment that was geared to the Black community. They gave it to the white kids, and when it was broken up, then they sent it to our community. So I didn't, he apologized. This campaign is not about some 20-year-old kid. We're on the verge of World War III, and some people are saying violence, no matter who wins this election, and this is a diversion, a distraction, and I'm offended as someone who has been on the front line fighting racism and being viciously, personally retaliated for it. I Googled, and for no particular reason, I Googled Mondaire Jones' statement on racism, and I didn't find shit until now. I found nothing. And I looked, nothing. So it's disingenuous. He feels like he's losing, which I think he is. And, it's a distraction. And I think he's milking it for all he can get for it.
Oh, well,
Any more questions? Any questions, Damon?
no. Listen, I have no questions, man. Like it's up to the people in its district. Like I said, I haven't lived in Peekskill in 50 years. So I really can't tell you what was going on, but I do know from the people on the street, they like Lawler. It is what it is. And I'm not.
It is what it is. He's
and I'm
out
not
there.
getting in my feelings, bro. Like we have to. I was just saying before you came on, like people are so this election cycle, they are so disrespectful because you have a different opinion than
Yes, sir.
someone else, and they think they could come on your thread and
Right.
be all type of disrespectful.
Right.
And I put a post up when Roland Martin disrespected that young brother. He was just being very disrespectful. And lo and behold, at the Democratic convention, that brother rolled up on him and he was about business. And I posted it and people didn't get it. Oh, well, he shouldn't have responded that way. No, we're men. At the end of the day, we're men, right? And sometimes people think that, some social media app can separate you from an ass whipping because you're not supposed to talk to people like that. I don't care if a man or a woman. Be respectful. I'll be on your behind on the issues, but I'm not going to be disrespectful to you. But I'll hold you accountable to the issues. Like I see people going after Janet Jackson. Well, let me ask you a question. Why should she support Kamala when she was going after her brother in them cases?
Facts. That's right.
So we actually think that Janet Jackson and the Jackson family are actually going to support Kamala when she was trying to put Michael in jail on some trumped up crazy charges.
Yeah.
No.
But
that doesn't mean you be disrespectful to her. That's her right.
I hear you loud and clear. And to me, you hit the nail on the head. Somebody yesterday, actually, they had the Rotary Festival in Peekskill, and Mike Lawler had a booth. And he came through, me, Committee for Justice members, escort him around, introduce him to people. But before he got there, some past NAACP presidents came over to the booth and tried to clown me. Oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. I said, brother, first of all, where have you seen me say I support Trump? Okay,
Exactly.
I'm here for Mike Lawler because he's here for me, and your NAACP has not been here for me. So at that point, I unloaded on him. And I did. I cursed him the freak out because you ain't gonna run up on me. We can have a disagreement, but you ain't gonna
Exactly.
roll up on me in
Exactly.
the streets. And I told her you ain't on Facebook. And then my daughter, I posted something about it. My daughter came on and made a comment. What did she call them? Keyboard thugs, real life punks.
Exactly. Exactly.
I just want to say, so Wilbur Aldridge did respond. He was trying to get one of the former NAACP president to come on instead of him. I gave him the link. I don't know if they're coming, but
yeah, that's who I'm talking about right now, Martin McDonald.
Oh no, he used it. He said, I
Okay.
actually know who that is. He said Valerie Eaton.
Okay, Martin McDonald came to me, tried to clown me, disrespect my organization.
We can't be like that.
He said he was trying to get Valerie Eaton.
Valerie was not the president when I met with them.
Okay, no, but he's saying that's who he was trying to pass. He was giving me her number. I was like, I'm on the air if you want to get
Okay, but the PCL and NAACP didn't even sign off on that statement. So what's really going on here?
Yeah, because it was Nyack. It was Nyack in Spring Valley
correct.
The president of Nyack in Spring Valley who signed off on the letter.
Correct. Peekskill didn't bring. So why is he reaching out to a Peekskill person who wasn't even the president when we met with them?
Right. And I know the current president. I work with her. We had we worked together for the DA debate, a countywide debate.
And she and I are on great terms.
Yeah.
Even though the organization couldn't
Priscilla,
help us.
I think her name is Priscilla.
Yeah. Good sister in my mind.
Yes.
You know, even though they couldn't help us, she wanted to, but there's a lot of people on that board who, you know, they serve the Democratic Party exclusively, not the Black community. Hence this statement.
Right.
But Wilbur was there, you know. He zoomed in on that meeting when I was requesting their help. And he probably doesn't remember about 10, 12 years ago, I also asked for the NAACP help when African American men in Peekskill were being crucified, and they told me no. We went on to win over $500,000 in lawsuits for these Black men without their help. But we always try to work together with them. We always reach out to them. We always try to work in unity, and they always say no. And so Committee for Justice, we march alone, and we keep winning. Because it's grassroots. Go walk through Peekskill and ask them about Committee for Justice. You know, it's the average brother and sister on the block. We ain't sending out press releases. I mean, I'm known, you know, I've done radio, I've been in the news, but that's my organization. And when you see me, you see them. Right. A picture I sent you, that protest was with holding signs. That was Committee for Justice. That was in front of Senator Schumer's office. That was the protest that made national headlines.
No doubt. And I want to say I know this brother's been out there, and we haven't even always seen eye to eye on every issue, but I respect.
Not all lions agree on everything.
No, absolutely not. We're not supposed to. Right?
But I'm gonna say this: coming to know you better, and knowing Damon for a while, but we lost touch for a while. But you'll have to, you know, we'll all agree that I've been supporting you guys as you've been supporting me lately, because it's late in the game, and we the three of us have put any minor differences aside, and we're standing strong. So if anybody comes for any of you, that means they're coming for us.
Right. More importantly, when we weren't seeing eye to eye, there was a group of white people from Peekskill that was trying to get me to give you the business, and I told them I had an issue with the brother. I addressed the issue. Yeah, we're good. What I'm not going to do is allow you to use me, the Black media, to tear down that Black man. I'm not going to do your dirty work. So
Right,
even
right,
when we wasn't seeing eye to eye, I would not allow them to let me
right.
to
And
use me to do their dirty work to attack you. Like I'm not doing that.
and that's much appreciated. And I want to say it, in terms of that same issue, Peekskill Judge Reggie Johnson stepped down, and I have history with him. The history was that he came at me at a council meeting just before he got appointed. It was all over the news. The video was up for 30, 60 days, and he went on to become a good judge. Now I don't know the personal behavior he was accused of, but a lot of people called me and said, "Yo, D, we need to fight for this man. He's not going along with their plan to mass evict people out of public housing." And I say all that to say, my personal differences with him is not as big as the needs of the community,
Right,
and
right.
that's how I always roll.
Is it somebody? Is it Peekskill that one or two people recently just stepped down? Is it Peekskill?
Peekskill, the city judge, Reginald Johnson, he resigned. He was accused of sexual harassment, abuse
Right.
of
Okay.
power, fixing tickets for people.
Right.
You
That's what it was.
know,
Tickets. It was
yeah,
Wow.
several tickets or something. Yeah.
He was
yeah,
busy.
huh?
He was busy.
The investigation was very ugly. To be honest, it felt like he was. I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty, but I can tell you he was being tracked by people inside the office. I don't know how legal it is to make copies of court documents, but all of that was going on, and he fell hard.
Wow.
And didn't another elected official step down because they had a relationship with him or something? It was something. There
Peekskill
was a
Mayor
second
Vivian
story I saw.
McKenzie demanded that a Latino councilman stepped down because he influenced a ticket for Judge Johnson.
Okay, that's what I read. Okay.
Yeah, Vivian McKenzie's call backfired because the Westchester Hispanic Democratic Committee came after her. She she asked him to step down because he's going to primary her, and so he called the judge about a ticket. I mean, come on now.
Everybody
Um,
did that, man.
it goes on all freaking day, every day. Meanwhile, Peekskill, there's a lot of the feds are here based on my letters and Mike Lawler's letters. There's been a lot of misappropriation, a lot of unethical behavior. You have I'm not going to call this developer's name, although I can legally, but they tried to steer multi-million-dollar contract to him through the housing authority without putting it out to bid. They wouldn't let the tenants vote on it, and so HUD came in. They met with Mayor McKenzie. They had questions about what certain money was used for what, because the city said they had $4 million for this project, and a councilman said they had 1.5 million. That money never got there. Now, maybe nothing illegal happened, but we need answers. And so she has bigger things to worry about than this little petty telling somebody to step down over a freaking ticket.
Wow.
And she's been hostile. She's been hostile to our community. Last time I went to the council meeting, Peekskill City Council meeting, I got up to speak, citizens to be heard. She interrupted me. "Excuse me, Mr. Day, is this an item on the agenda?" I said, it's not on the agenda. You're never going to put this on the agenda. I've been a voice for this community. I've been coming here for 40 years. I've earned 3 minutes to ask you to stop appointing people to the Housing Authority Board who are hostile to public housing residents. She called the cops on me. Cops came up
What
one aisle.
was that?
I ran out the
Was it
other
during the?
aisle.
Was it during the public? Was it during the public speaking?
Yes,
You're
citizens
supposed
to
to be
be
able to speak
heard.
about. You're supposed to be able to speak about whatever at the public speaking.
But see,
As far as I know.
they changed the rules
As always.
because right, they changed the rules because they were having rooms full of black people, led by the Committee for Justice, room full of black people speaking about gentrification, retaliation against housing authority residents. And so they changed the rules that from now on you can only talk about what we put on the agenda, in flagrant violation of Committee on Open Government's rules and the First Amendment, free speech. And so I was arrested. I was arrested 4 times for not speaking, for talking peacefully about something that wasn't on the agenda. Vivian McKenzie, black woman mayor.
Wow.
That's why it's good to have. I want to actually get you on more, like Bob Marone, learning from Bob Marone.
Yeah.
I live in we live in the lower Westchester area, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to. I need to get somebody who's from that area to come on every now and then and talk about what's going on there.
I'd
So
love to. I'd love
yeah,
to. Just so you know, I do a Facebook Live every other Saturday, and so I'm getting calls for people who have inside information, who wants to come on the program. I could certainly refer them to you so that the whole county's connected and we all
Yeah,
talking to each other.
Absolutely, man.
I'm on board, bro.
Oh, and shout out to Bob Marone. He's coming back. He said he sent an ad for our 10-year anniversary. He's doing a new thing. I don't know what it is, but it's coming soon, he said.
Bob's a good guy. When he left VOX, as a matter of fact, D, you was like, I was bugging Damon. I was like, yo, man, can you do my show this week? Like, I would call him like half an hour before we were going on live. so because you was dropping the knowledge. I didn't know you that well at the time, but I was hearing you. I said, I gotta have this brother on my show. So Bob Marone left VOX, and then he started having me come on his morning thing. And don't you know that the station manager called me and said, we understand you're doing Bob Marone's show? I said, yeah. Well, we would rather you don't do it. And I said, well,
that was WFAS.
WVOX, but when they were still
no,
on
you
the
were
air.
on VOX and he was on FAS.
That's when
that's when they wouldn't let you on. VOX didn't want you on his FA because I ended up getting on because you couldn't go on no more. That's how I ended up on Bob Marone's show.
No,
exactly.
No, I could have went on, but the conversation went, no, you can go on, but we would hate to lose you at VOX.
right. So that's when I got the call to start coming on.
Well, God bless, because things work out for the best. You know what I'm saying? You had your spot, and I had my spot.
Yeah, so I started coming on FAS, and then he left. They went sports, and then he went back to VOX, and then me and David both had a spot on VOX. Yeah, and then we had our own show on VOX because of it. Yeah,
I remember. Yep, all good.
Yeah,
yep, holding down the grassroots. I mean, there's a difference.
I want to say real quick. So we had two guests that were supposed to be on. The first one, Tajon Nelson, the Board of Election Commissioner, she has not contacted me yet. And Shanae Williams, who's the county legislator, was coming on to talk about an initiative for domestic violence. She's been having problems logging on. She couldn't do it from her phone.
No one seems to know this, but Amazon actually has a 50 million.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Is that you?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
I was like, where that voice come from? I'm trying
to download something. Go ahead.
Anyway, she's trying to switch to her laptop, and if she can, she'll be on. And so those who are waiting for her, she will be on to talk about her initiative for domestic violence. And this is in October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I just want to let people know. Since all I did was start off, I was waiting for Damon was reading the letter, and then Damon chimed in, and then I just sent you the invite. Like,
you can do that. You can do that anytime, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just laying here watching cartoons, and I get the link. I sit up and I'm trying to fix my hair.
So I was like, when someone was asking, like, who is the Committee for Justice, and I told you I had already got a text or two about that before when I wrote it, when I posted it. So I said, well, let you come on and talk about it so everybody can hear for themselves.
No, I mean, there's one of the pictures I sent you. I sent you a picture of me and Al Sharpton. That picture's 30 years old. And underneath it says, Al Sharpton came to Peekskill to meet with Darrell Davis, chairman of the Committee for Justice. But again, let's keep it even more real. How many black grassroots organizations does Lily White Lohud even mention?
Right.
Boom, there's the answer. I mean, Lohud knows who I am. They know who the Committee for Justice is. Did they write about us? No.
Yeah, this Sharpton says activist Al Sharpton came to Peekskill on August 26, 1993, to meet with Darrell Davis on such issues, Civilian Review Board of Police Actions, on a plan for the Kylie Center expansion. Sharpton stopped and Peekskill for breakfast at the Village Country Kitchen on South Street after meeting in Albany. Davis Group, the Committee for Justice, provided security for Sharpton last year when he ran for office and made appearances in Yonkers, Greenberg, and New Rochelle. Sharpton will challenge Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan this year. That was September 1993.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I think,
and this is Big Al.
This was Big Al.
This is Mr. Dark and Lovely. This is Mr. Dark and Lovely.
Yeah, that was big. That's Big Al. I those dinners. Let me tell you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've been around since 1990, and again, low HUD. They ignore us because just like Al Sharpton, they don't write much about the National Action Network.
So Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They don't write much about NAN, his organization. They say Al Sharpton. They always want their white audience to think that we're one man show. Committee for Justice, we have about 40 members, activists. We have officers. We have a brother in, oh man, he's not in New York State. He's our field marshal because he's out of state. We have one of our founder members who moved to California. He's our Minister of Defense. All right. You see where I'm going? We based our organization in honor of the Black Panther Party. We have 4 former Black Panthers in our organization. We are completely loyal to the community, to the people. We don't vote Democrat, Republican. We vote community empowerment. And a lot of people ain't comfortable with that, especially with black skin. I mean, let's face it. Joe Biden told us, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, by the way, how come there was no outrage from Mondaire Jones or the NAACP? This is a sitting president putting this poison out there.
Hey, I don't even know.
When you don't fit the narrative. Go ahead, Damon.
Even Charlemagne got quiet on that, man.
They play within the margins. We don't.
Right. Yeah, that's why we get so much heat because we don't color in the lines.
Exactly.
We don't do what's expected of us. We don't fit the existing narrative. We don't. Actually, we can't. We created this to change the narrative. Actually, so to challenge the system. And we're still standing 10 years later, even though they thought we wouldn't be around no more.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do it all the time.
I think Daryl froze, and I sent you the picture if you wanted to see it. The picture of him and Al Sharpton. I texted to you.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to share it, yeah, we're gonna. We didn't hear from the former NAACP presidents or Wilbur Aldrich, so we did extend an invitation to them so that you could hear from everybody. I sent it to them at the same time. Darrell Davis accepted the invitation. Wilbur Aldrich is trying to get one of the presidents to join, and I gave him the link, but no one came on. So well, I guess I don't know why he was trying to get one of the presidents to come on. But good point though that Darrell made. The 2 presidents that signed the letter, he didn't mention them. He mentioned the Peekskill former president. It was the Spring Valley and Nyack presidents who signed the letter with him.
Right. Can you guys hear me? I'm back. My phone died.
Yeah. Your phone had froze. I mean, you had froze for a minute.
Yeah. No. It's and again, I mean, the Peekskill NAACP. I've been reaching out to them. We met early in the year on the Housing Authority issue. The president meant well, but her board is stacked with these Democrats who have been trying to get rid of public housing because they've been taking money from a developer named Wilder Balter, and they tried to hand him this multi-million-dollar project without putting it out to bid. HUD came up and shut that down because of my letters and Congressman Lawler's letters. All right. So we have no beef with the president of the Peekskill NAACP. What their treasurer came to a meeting that I hosted for Congressman Lawler. There were a lot of influencers there, Black school board members, Muslims, at my invitation. They sat down and had coffee with Congressman Lawler, got to talk to him, meet him. So, my goal is always to build coalitions. And so it's interesting that, I'm at a Peekskill, I'm based in Peekskill, and the NAACP statements came from everywhere but Peekskill.
Well, again, shout out to Priscilla, the current president of Peekskill.
Mm-hmm.
As a vice president of Mount Vernon NAACP, we have a great working relationship. So I just wanted to, we've worked together. Like I said, we put together a county-wide. We got all the NAACPs in the county to come together for a DA debate, and it was the first time all the branches worked together on anything, as far as I know. So she was definitely
same here. Nothing but respect for her. She works in a different structure than I do. She has a board that can say yes or no on different issues. Committee for Justice, we're not structured like that. I'm the founder, the chairman. Sometimes, the group will say we don't agree with that, and I go with what they want. But I basically have the final say, or one of the captains if I'm not around. So
Ta-Nehisi Coates has a new book out. Propaganda decided to take on the
Damon.
And the war in Gaza. And
you're just killing me.
I think Damon's watching soap operas while I'm talking.
No. We about to talk about what's the name's book, Ta-Nehisi Coates' book.
Oh, okay. All right.
I guess he's pulling something up.
All right.
Yeah. So, I was getting ready to say something until he threw me off with the audio.
Yeah, no. We were talking about the sister, the president.
Oh no. What I was going to say is, I also have to navigate the multiple hats. I'm the editor-in-chief of Black Westchester. I ain't got to go through no board. I ain't got to get approval for no statements. But as the vice president, I got to go through the president, and I got to go through, you know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes I just got to be AJ from Black Westchester and just do it.
Right.
And my whole thing, which will probably somewhere along the line get me in trouble, I feel it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So
I'm gonna steal that.
permission take too long sometimes.
And you might not like the answer.
Yeah, right. So
I get that. It's all good. But listen, I'm here anytime. You guys are doing amazing work. It takes a lot of courage to do what you do and say what you say, and this is what attracts me to back you guys 100%. Thank
you. And
thank you, brother.
Good luck with that other situation you're dealing with, and whenever you want to address that, we're here.
Oh, absolutely. You send out the invite, and I'm spilling the beans because he also took a lot of money from Wilder Walter, and I've been standing in the way of that multi-million-dollar profit for his peoples for a long time, and so it was time to take a brother out in handcuffs.
Well, we're gonna leave that for another day. But
yes, sir.
All right, my brother. Thank you for coming through.
All right. Be good, you guys.
All right, no doubt.
All right. Peace.
Yes. So that's my brother Daryl Davis. He is the chair of the Committee for Justice in Peekskill, and as you heard, he been doing work for a while. He didn't just. The Committee for Justice is not. They didn't just start today. Like they didn't just come on today. They've been doing the thing for a minute. So that's it.
Well,
I did download the book, and I did listen to more than half of it.
We have to pause on that because we have county legislation. Just popped in.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to. Yes. Let it bring. The sister, how are you, my sister?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing good. How are you?
Yes. So, Shanae, Sister Shanae has enjoyed a lot of Black Westchester support in all her
Yes,
races, and
thank
now
you.
she is the county legislator. And I think today you wanted to come on and talk about some initiatives as far as domestic violence, and as we
Yeah,
go into we are in Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
right, exactly. I'll jump in right there. Thank you, AJ and Damon, for having me. The support over the years has been absolutely welcomed, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you guys. And so, as you know, I'm in my first 10 months now at the County Board of Legislators, and one of the initiatives that I decided to launch for the first time is an awareness campaign around domestic violence, mostly because I think we all know someone who's been affected, or we ourselves might have been in domestic violence situations. And, I think it's really important for people to realize that it's not going away if we just don't talk about it, right? Especially in the Black community, in, the Hispanic community, we tend to think that it's a normal thing to grow up around domestic violence. And we want to kind of just like really bring the community to a point where we can start talking about it openly and recognizing when we're wrong or when our family members are wrong, and really just heal, right, as a community. I know it's been increased 10 times over during the pandemic in so many different ways. Just being stuck together in the beginning, and just like everybody's mental health, going through the roof. I think it's really important now more than ever for us to start this campaign. And so this Saturday at Tibbetts, I'm hosting the 5K walk run, and partners like the Senate Majority Leader Andre Stewart Cousins, Councilwoman Tasha Diaz, PharmaCares, Westchester Latinos Unidos, the County Parks Department, and our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, has been really helpful throughout this whole process in putting this together. And the goal is to raise funding through this 5K, and donate all the funds that we receive back to an organization in Westchester that's already doing the work to help domestic violence victims. And this year, to kick it off, we've chosen to work with and give the funds to the Yonkers YWCA, because they've really been a good partner for the community. And they've been working with women who, and it's been really good to see the work that they've been doing over the years in this space. So we'll be giving them all the funds. It's pretty inexpensive. If you're a runner or someone who likes to give back, it's pretty expensive, right? I know I pay way more to go and run in certain races as a runner. So it's $35 a head. And if you're a student, it's $25, or if you're a senior, it's less. But yeah, I think, no, if you're a senior, it's $25. If you're a student or a child, it's $20. And it's just a really good thing to do. We're going to have some speakers. Some of my colleagues from the county board will be there. Certainly the sponsor of a bill that we passed this year, David Imamora, he'll be there to talk more about the domestic violence legislation that we just passed, and how we're doing more to protect survivors. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I hope that the community can come out and support. I know that the police department has a team already. I know that Yonkers Running Project has a team, and I see that it's slowly getting out there. We were a little late to put the flyer out, but we're getting there, and we're at the point where we're talking about it. So that's a really healthy thing. I'm really excited about it.
Let me see.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
hearing you now. Did you hear the applause?
Like a fuzzy noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The sound effects ain't coming out good. I was trying to give you your applause, because we didn't give you applause.
It's coming out kind of fuzzy, man. It's coming out
so
like,
now I gotta,
it ain't coming out like claps. It's coming out.
Oh, it was applause.
Coming out like static.
Okay, we got to work on that, because I can't hear it, so it
Okay.
comes through. I just want to know. Yeah, Anyway, we was trying to
Thank
give you
you.
a plug.
You might have to turn it down.
Oh, okay.
You might have too much volume on the claps, brother.
Okay. Well, he just gave me this. I just plugged it in today, 2 days ago for the first time. So I got a new mic and I got all this, professional looking stuff. So I'm trying to step up my game a little bit. So
Nice.
Cookie Alexander Campbell said, great organization, the YCWA. I have consulted for Hayes off to Charlie Knight. Also, shout out to My Sister's Place. Is that what they called? I believe that they do great work. My Sister's Place,
Hope Store. There's a lot of organizations throughout Westchester that's at the forefront of this. And over as we grow, this is the first year that we're doing it. Every year we're going to choose a different organization to give that funding to. So next year it could be My Sister's Place. Another year it could be another organization in Upper Westchester. We're going to make it a big thing as we grow.
No, that's great.
So, what's I going to say? So for people that want to join this, the Run Walk, how do they sign up? Where can they sign up?
Yes, they can go if they're not following me on social media. If they are following me on social media, it'll be on my page. It's a purple flyer. You can't miss it. And the link for that is on there. You can type in Google elitefeats.com, ELITEFEATS.com /24 and the words break the silence. So /24 break the silence. So we're titling this year's run Break the Silence on Domestic Violence because we want people to start talking about this massive thing that's been happening.
Can you text me that link? Can you text me that link so I can share it on Black Westchester? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and sorry, Cookie Alexander Campbell. I don't know what I said, but she said I read her statement wrong. She said she is a consultant for the YWCA. I'm not sure what I did, and hats off to Charlie Knight. Okay. That okay, there was a typo in that one. So yes, okay. That's what she said.
Awesome.
Shout out to Cookie Alexander Campbell. She does a lot of good work too.
Yes.
Shout out to Rosa Mentz. Yes. So anything else? Your first 10 months as a county legislator, anything else you want to share? Any initiatives you got? Any work you've been doing? I mean,
sure. Look, I know that the sole purpose was to come on and let people know about the 5K, but thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit more about a couple of other things. One, as you know, I'm sure I don't have to tell the followers and the listeners of Black Westchester this, but November is coming up around the corner. Election day is coming up around the corner, and we have to get out and vote. The last day to register to vote is October 26th. So if you know your neighbors, your family members, your friends aren't registered, please get them registered and let them, encourage them to get out and vote on November 5th. And also encourage them to flip the ballot and vote. If you're in Westchester County, there's going to be at least 2 different propositions that you want to pay attention to. The first one is a state proposition on equal rights amendments, ERA. That I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I will tell you how I'm going to vote, and I'll be voting in favor of it. So make sure you read up on that. And then the second thing is County Proposition 1, which is a proposition that we've put out with support from everyone at the County Board of Legislators, all parties. And it's to extend our county terms from 2-year terms to 4-year terms. And the maximum amount of years that we can serve consecutively will not change. That will still remain 12 years. We cannot go over 12 years. We're just extending the terms so that we don't have to put such a burden on the taxpayers when we're campaigning and fundraising every 2 years, so that we can focus and get more work done and actually pass good policies for you. And it makes so much more sense. We want to give you the option to decide if you agree with us. And so it's a public referendum, and we're hoping that you'll vote in favor of this. And so, yeah, just vote. I will vote. And I just want to remind you to flip the ballot. That's very important. And of course, I'm not going to get into it, but Team Kamala Walz. That's all I'm going to say.
So Joanne Dunn said, "Good evening, all. We love Legislator Williams."
Oh, we love you too, Joanne. She had a fantastic event.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. She's so amazing in the work that she's doing in the young people's lives throughout Westchester, and especially Mount Vernon there. It's really, really wonderful to see. And she's actually
now I got to mess with you, right? Yo, Damon, she pulled the Ken Jenkins. She came through. Then I spoke to her 2 seconds later. Then she was gone.
I did. I did.
She did the Ken Jenkins 2-step. Yeah.
I love it. But she's absolutely right. Sometimes, we get exhausted going. It was one of the nights where there was a lot Friday night. So I wasn't able to stay as long as I would have liked.
Yeah, there was a lot that whole weekend because Thursday they had the sister at the Glen Island Harbor Club, and I went to that. And I went to those back to back. So, but yes, the youth shelter Westchester had an excellent gala. I think Sister Shanae froze. Hopefully that'll get fixed. Yeah, but the youth shelter Westchester had a great gala. They had DJ Envy as the keynote speaker from the Breakfast Club, and you'll see the pictures of both galas in the newspaper and on the website. And again, I think we lost Sister Shanae. Damon, you still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think she froze. I think we lost her.
She froze. Jeez. Everybody freezing.
Yeah,
man.
everybody freezing tonight. That's why I thought it was me, because then I was like, but you can still hear me. So,
well, it's probably the weather.
Yeah.
A lot of places.
Yeah.
The weather, man. Oh,
I got
back.
There you go.
For a while. I don't know.
You was froze for a while. You was like, yeah.
You guys were frozen on my end too. I was like, okay.
Oh no, we were still going, but you was going. Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but thank you so much again for having me on. And
Don't forget to send me the link. Don't forget to share the link so I can share it.
Will do. Should I send it in the chat here or email it?
You can chat. You can put it in the chat here, but text me too, so I have it, or email it. Either way. Yeah.
I'll email it and I'll text it to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So now we're going to get into, I guess, so I was saying, Damon, so I got the book on Audible. I was able to listen to at least half of it. I was very, well, I'm going to let you introduce the book first, and then I'm going to talk about what I heard.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to, for people that are watching, for those who don't know, Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's a award-winning author. He's he wrote a whole series from Marvel Comics to Black Panther. Like, this guy's a real deal, and he writes about our struggle as Black people. Around, I'm going to say, the beginning of this year, maybe last year, maybe the end of last year, he talked about his trip in Palestine. And he talked about how, as a Black person in America, who ancestors and relatives that are still alive, came up through segregation and Jim Crow and redlining, and our own apartheid, living in America as Black people. When he went over there, and I've said it too, as Black people, we know what racism looks like. We know what oppression looks like because we lived it in America. So when you go into another country, you recognize it very well. And if you don't, then you've been living in a glass bubble, or you've been living with blinders on. So Ta-Nehisi Coates, in his book, The Message, he did not talk about just Palestine. He talked about other places too. But he gave his experience, and even he said that, and you'll see, because I'm going to try to play the clips, that he had more freedom walking through Israel than the Palestinians do. He had more freedom than Israeli Palestinians. So he wrote about that. And on the morning show, one of the hosts attacked him, basically saying that he was taking the side of the Palestinians and not taking the side of Jewish people. And I just, I was taken back on that, because that's when we deal with white supremacy, we see it in all forms. And when white people try to tell black people that what they experience is not racism, that's white supremacy. That's part of white supremacy. And we have allowed it. But also, this is sad, because, and I wrote articles, the history of the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement in America was tied to the Palestinian struggle for years. For years. Black Panther Party, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, they all connected to the struggle of the Palestinian people for 30, 40, 50 years. And for us to actually forget that, then we're forgetting our own history. So let me I just want to oh damn, what happened to it? Hold on a second. Share screen, Windows. Yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah, that sounds better.
Oh, you was able to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, that sounds better.
All right. Yeah, I turned everything down, I guess.
Okay.
This thing got treble, bass, mid range. I had to turn everything down.
Let me.
Nicole Benjamin said, "Team Shanae." What's up, Nicole?
Hey, what's happening, Nicole? Here we go. Oh shit. Oh, gotta take it off a thing.
I imagine if I took your name out of it, took away the awards and the acclaim, took the cover off the book, the publishing house goes away, the content of that section would not be out of place in the backpack of an extremist. And so then I found myself wondering, why does Ta-Nehisi Coates, who I've known for a long time, read his work for a long time, very talented, smart guy, leave out so much? Why leave out that Israel is surrounded by countries that want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? Why not detail anything of the first and the second intifada, the cafe bombings, the bus bombings, the little kids blown to bits? And is it because you just don't believe that Israel in any condition has a right to exist?
Well, I would say the perspective that you just outlined, there is no shortage of that perspective in American media. That's the first thing I would say. I am most concerned always with those who don't have a voice, with those who don't have the ability to talk. I have asked repeatedly in my interviews whether there is a single network, mainstream organization in America with a Palestinian American bureau chief or correspondent who actually has a voice to articulate their part of the world. I've been a reporter for 20 years. The reporters of those who believe more sympathetically about Israel and its right to exist don't have a problem getting their voice out. But what I saw in Palestine, what I saw on the West Bank, what I saw in Haifa in Israel, what I saw in the South Hebron Hills, those were the stories that I have not heard.
So Ta-Nehisi.
So that's crazy.
I respect what his answer was to that question, and I want to say the same thing. As the editor of Black Westchester, we're often asked questions like that, and as his response was, there's a plethora of that narrative already out there. You know what I'm saying? We speak for those who can't speak for themselves, and that's what we do, and that's what he's saying he did, and I relate to that. So I just wanted to say that part.
So I also like, oh man, I done messed up. But I also am we don't have real Black media. We don't have real Black media. And I say this, and was sad the fact that CBS and as you watch it, look at Gayle King sit there and look stupid. Look at the other Black guy. I don't just sit there and look stupid, and allow this man. And let's be clear. They said he has family over in Israel. His wife is Israeli, right? Yeah, you're gonna feel some type of way, and I understand. But you just dismissed it. His view on what happened, because as Black people, we understand what racism looks like.
And oppression.
To literally say that his book needs to be in the backpack. Check out what he said. His book needs to be in the backpack. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? And for Gayle King and the other brother to sit there shows that we don't stick up for each other, because we don't own our media. And let me tell you, and this is just not Gayle King. This is all the radio hosts. All the radio hosts. All of them. Even on what's that Black channel on Sirius? They don't do no better, because we are too worried about them pulling our advertisement, and we're too worried about not pleasing these white stations. See, if we don't learn,
they got to answer to people.
Yeah, well, they got to answer to everybody. They have to answer to everybody. See, and when you stay silent, it's easy for them to come after someone like Ta-Nehisi Coates. This guy is award-winning journalist. Award-winning journalist. And he's attacked like that. Let's go into
book. What is it that so particularly offends you about the existence of a Jewish state that is a Jewish safe place and not any of the other states out there?
There's nothing that offends me about a Jewish state. I am offended by the idea of states built on ethnocracy, no matter where they are.
Muslim included.
I would not want a state where any group of people lay down their citizenship rights based on ethnicity. The country of Israel is a state in which half the population exists on one tier of citizenship, and everybody else that's ruled by Israelis exists on another tier, including Palestinian Israeli citizens. The only people that exist on that first tier are Israeli Jews. Why do we support that? Why is that okay? I'm the child of Jim Crow. I'm the child of people that were born into a country where that was exactly the case of American apartheid. I walk over there and I walk through the occupied territories and I walk down a street in Hebron. And a guy says to me, I can't walk down the street unless I profess my religion. I'm with another pastor. No. I want to. This is very, very important. It is extremely important.
Let me lay it down.
I'm working with the person that is guiding me is a Palestinian whose father, whose grandfather and grandmother was born in this town. And I have more freedom to walk than he does. He can't ride on certain roads. He can't get water in the same way that Israeli citizens who live less than a mile away from him can.
And why
is that okay?
Why is that?
This is just one of many examples of.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's extra crazy. Go ahead.
And this is but see, here's the sad thing that black people lose it because we get in our feelings. This is what we're supporting.
This
is what we are supporting, that what Ta-Nehisi Coates witnessed. This is what us Negroes are supporting.
And this is the narrative that they don't want to get out. This is
exactly.
Some of y'all are hearing this for the first time because they don't allow this to get out. They control their narrative. Black Westchester was here to change the narrative. I want to shout out Sister Atilia Taylor Tanner. She does Humble Bumble books, and she deals with a bunch of black books like this book. And she said Banned Book Week continues. She encouraged people to read the books that are on the banned book list. And I want to shout her out. She does very good work. She does the mobile book, a book store outside of events and conferences and stuff. She'll see her with her table. If you see her, support her. Tell her Black Westchester told you. Pick up some of the books because she supports a lot of black authors that we need to be reading.
Yeah, man. But you know, we have to. Oh, you're welcome, Rosa. We have to really understand what we're voting for. When people get mad at me, and I tell them, no, I'm not voting for Democrats. Absolutely not. Why? Because they're supporting genocide, because they're supporting segregation, because they're supporting everything that they claim that the Constitution is for. Those amendments for black people, they throw them out the window over there in Israel. And they're sending our money, our tax dollars, over there to that. So yes, that dude's going to get upset because someone as the stature of Ta-Nehisi Coates has put it in writing. Put the ink to the paper about what's going on out over there. But we're calling our feelings, and we're not understanding that we are indirectly supporting genocide. Because Negroes is caught in their feelings. Because we want to make history. But we're making history, all right. We're making history of destroying a whole culture of people. And I don't want to hear about Trump. The question is, are we ready to deal with those repercussions with God? That's the question. Because the man, by the book, and the man's going to tell you what goes on over there. And that's what we're supporting. Or that's what you're supporting when you go to the ballot box. And that's on you.
I want to say the things he described when he answered him is what we faced here in Jim Crow and segregation and slavery, and right after slavery. That's this type of oppression. We couldn't drink at certain fountains. We couldn't go down certain streets. We couldn't go in certain stores. So as a descendant from that, when he went there, and you showed the video clip before, he said, "Oh, I know what this is. I recognize this because we've seen it before here. Like I know what this is."
Right, and
it's crazy. The guy was his guide. The guy was his guide and couldn't go down that street. That's crazy. And the fact that we're not dealing with that, the fact that the interviewer, his point of view, because the author didn't have his point of view, he wanted to shut him down. Like, his point of view was the only point of view, like no one else had the right to have another point of view. I have a problem with that.
Well, I mean, but
I've always had a problem. That's why we do what we do, because I've always had a problem with that.
All right,
we always say the things that they didn't want us to say.
Let's check out this last spot. This last part.
Oh, you got another one?
Yeah, one more clip. Hold on a second.
Is there no agency in this book for the Palestinians? They exist in your narrative merely as victims of the Israelis, as though they were not offered peace at any juncture, as though they don't have a stake in this as well. What is their role in the lack of a Palestinian?
I have a very, 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 very moral compass about this. And again, perhaps it's because of my ancestry. Either apartheid is right or it's wrong. It's really, really simple. Either what I saw was right or it's wrong. I am, for instance, against the death penalty. What the person did to get the death penalty, it really doesn't matter to me. I don't care if they were selling a nickel bag of marijuana or if they were a serial killer. I am against the death penalty. I am against a state that discriminates against people on the basis of ethnicity. I'm against that. There is nothing the Palestinians could do that would make that okay for me. My book is not based on the hyper-morality
What's the last
of the
message you
Palestinian
want?
people.
So here she goes. That's all Gayle King had to say. And what he told the host, you're not going to understand because you're white. Basically, that's what he told him. Maybe it's because my ethnicity. Yeah, because I'm a black man. I've been through this. You haven't. Your white skin is a privilege. Even if you waste it, it's a privilege. See, this is, and this is what we continue to have to fight against. This is why the need for us to start controlling our own institutions and controlling our narratives. And if you were just watching that, you would think that his whole book is about Palestine, but it's not.
I was going to say that.
It's not. It's a chapter. It's a chapter, or maybe two. I didn't get the book yet. I didn't listen to the audio yet, but it's a chapter or maybe two.
So I do want to speak on it because I downloaded it this morning. I have it on Audible. I got to listen to half of it. Now let me tell you. So he also is a big part of Africa and talk about going to Africa and how American blacks are considered in Africa and how they're dealing with Africa. So he talks about that. But before he gets into any of that, what he talks about is his love affair with language and words and how certain songs and journalism, how he got into journalism. And I totally related to all of that. Our interest was very similar. He had different experiences, and he was exposed a little earlier than I was. But that's what, like, there's a whole book here. There's not this part about Palestine was a very small part of it. There's he didn't acknowledge nothing about all the stuff he talked about Africa. There's a whole portion of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they tried to discredit. Black people have been discredited for taking a small part of a big piece and trying to make it like it was all about that. Like, Black people have made speeches and they take one sentence of what they said and tried to make it all about that.
Right.
This book, I'm telling all Black people need to get this book. Whether you read it, whether you listen to it on Audible, support this book. Go get this book. And it's funny that my sister said, she said banned book week. This would be a book that would be on the banned book list eventually. This would definitely be one of those books. So I encourage all my Black people who like to read and know what time it is to go get this book. I deliberately turn the channel every time I see Gayle King.
Gayle King, I'm very disappointed in you. And the brother just stood there. He ain't saying nothing. See, this is what this is. See, and this is how we get.
And that's our responsibility. But that's our. I just want to say that. See, a lot of people worried about whether it's locally or nationally. You're worried about losing your job. You're worried about retaliation of something like this. Yo, you sitting in a position of power. That's a position to go into people's kitchens and living rooms and bedrooms every morning. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain power. But with that comes a certain responsibility. And when stuff like this comes, and this brother, you allowed this one white guy to team up. It was like a whole bunch of people against him. Team up, like you didn't defend him. You didn't present another side of it.
No, they just sat there.
Anything about your blackness, you didn't speak. You just said silent. And Martin Luther King said, silence, there's a time when silence becomes betrayal. He also said, you might not always remember the words of your enemies, but you'll always remember the silence of your friends.
Exactly.
I'm paraphrasing. We have to stop being afraid to speak. When you're in the positions, there have been black people who have spoke up, and they're not on those shows anymore.
Hold on, I'm trying to close this window.
Yeah, only you have to close it because you put it up there. I can't close it. I can't take the pictures out either.
I don't know how.
Yeah, she never speaks up. You know, it's like our black elected officials locally and nationally, they don't speak up because they're scared of offending a group of people who want to support them no more. The problem I have is what happens, where are you when we get offended? Like, who speaks up for us when we're offended? I was offended by some of those comments that dude made. The fact that he brought that narrative to him like that. And I love that this brother, he was educated. He had an educated black man there, an educated brother. He spoke with intelligence. He never lost his cool. He didn't curse him out. He just brought the facts and kept it 100 with him. And we need more brothers like that. And when we have brothers like that, that's what I'm saying. We need to support those brothers. So everybody go buy his book. Word up.
That's it. Absolutely.
We don't have enough black media. Like I always joke around, like the song said, one day, and it might not be long, you're going to look around and we're going to be gone because our people ain't support us. You know, the people that we're talking about and that don't want us to say what we're saying, they're not going to support us. You know what I'm saying? Yo, when you have people that are speaking for us and changing the narrative, we got to support them. I went and as soon as Damon told me of the book, I went and brought it on Audible. Like I said, I listened to more than half the book. I didn't even get to the Palestine part. What I'm saying, I didn't even get to that part, which means I got to more than half of the book, almost 3/4 of the book, and I didn't get to that part. My point is, the book ain't all about that. That's the point I'm making. That's the point.
No. Yeah, but that's the narrative. I just unfollowed Gayle King. I don't have time to be following slaves. I don't have time to be following slaves. See, and when you and black people got mad at Donald Trump when he talked about black jobs. That's black jobs. You just saw black jobs. Black jobs is just sitting there being silent while another black man is being attacked for telling what he saw in Palestine because it disagreed with not just that person, but whoever was on top. Because trust me, he got the order to do that. He didn't do that on his own. He didn't do it on his own. And I'm giving the Negroes, Gayle King and the other brother, the benefit of the doubt that they didn't even know that was going to happen. But still, your blackness should have kicked in, Gayle. and whatever the dude's name, as a black man, your blackness should have kicked in, because you're not separated from the issues that Ta-Nehisi Coates was talking about of our experience here in America. And at least you could have co-signed on what he was saying. But no, you just sat there. And neither one of them even nodded their head to suggest what Ta-Nehisi Coates' truth was coming out of his mouth of us being as black people and what we experienced here in America. That's crazy. That's crazy. These people got them so shook because they're going to lose something. And it's just not Gail and them. There's a whole lot of bunch of black Negroes out here are shook because they're scared they're going to lose something, that they sell their brothers and sisters down the drain. And we wonder why we're on the bottom of everything as a people, on the bottom. It's sad. It's really sad.
The brother's name is Nate Burleson, Burleson.
Well, Nate, you sold yourself out, Nate.
Because the other person, Tony Ducoupoli, whatever he sounds like the guy that was doing the talking. So
yeah, he's the guy doing the talking. His wife is Israeli. They got family over there, and he's in his feelings. But what everything Ta-Nehisi Coates said went over his head because he didn't care. He didn't care. And people act like this started on October 7th. This has been going on for 30, 40, 50 years since the creation, since the European Jews came from Europe and they were sent over there by the United Nations treaty or whatever. But they wasn't there before Hitler. I mean, it is what it is. And the struggle was on and on.
They've been fighting over that piece of land since the days of the Bible.
No, because they was giving it. It was the most egregious thing that the United Nations ever did. And France and United States is the most egregious thing that they did to the people that actually lived there. That was there already. So how and the question is that we have no intention on fixing it. And the way we feel that we're going to fix it is to allow them to kill them. And nobody's saying anything. But like I said, man, listen, God is going to be the winner at the end, because you can't continue and unjustly kill thousands and thousands and thousands of women and children and don't think it's going to come back. And I'm not talking about Israel. I'm talking about the White House. I'm talking about America, what we vote for. We don't even have money for disasters. We don't even have money for disasters.
The famous Tupac line, they got money for war but can't feed the poor.
And we're just going into hurricane season. We're just going into hurricane season. And we're going to get hit with more. Because now we're not on the side of justice, bro. We're not. And it is what it is.
Climate change. All these storms are getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
There ain't no climate change. That's God. Ain't no climate change. Ain't no climate change, brother. Ain't no climate. That's the Most High. See, because black people don't know justice. We don't know what justice looks like. We don't know what justice looks like. I dare any black person listening to this to come on this show and say we know what justice looks like. We haven't seen justice since we was brought over here by slave ships. Show me what justice looks like. And the fact of the matter is, we haven't even got the benefits from the amendments. We haven't even received the benefits from the constitutional amendments that was written for us. We haven't even seen that. And they put it in writing, and we still don't get it. If you want to argue with me, come on. We could go through every amendment, and we see as a whole, and black people have received what that amendment said, what that constitutional amendment said we are supposed to receive. Anybody? Come on, we go through the amendments. We haven't received none of it. But hope. Hope. We have to hope. Hope is future tense. They keep putting us in some dream. Martin Luther King had a dream. Obama's got hope. And we still ain't haven't woken up as a people and do for ourselves. Well, that's it. I didn't say what I had to say today.
Again, last week the advertising in the newspaper. Get your 10-year anniversary ads in. You can either take out an ad or make a donation to celebrate the 10-year anniversary. Black Westchester 10 years of giving you the news with the black point of view. This is last week to advertising that issue. Shout out to my partner in rhyme, B-Love, William Taylor. His birthday was Friday. My brother from the rap group I was in, JBC Force. We've been brothers since I was 7 and he was 5. That's my brother. I want to celebrate him. I shared pictures of us on social media. I want to give him a shout out. Most of the stories we talked about tonight, as always, can be found on blackwestchester.com. That's it. Until next week.
I didn't cover it tonight, but I'm gonna do a whole video. I'm gonna do a whole video on the George Floyd bill, because I'm really tired of these Negroes. The George Floyd bill is ineffective. The George Floyd bill is not going to change policing as we know it. The George Floyd bill does not have the tooth to deal with local, county, and state police. The George Floyd bill will only deal with federal policing. And I'm tired of these black radio hosts and these black activists out here screaming about the George Floyd bill when the George Floyd bill is flawed. Nothing that comes from the feds can actually change local state police. It can't do it. It goes against the Constitution. But we stay in our damn emotions. The first thing they ask people, you support the George Floyd bill? You support the George Floyd bill? Even if they did support the George Floyd bill, it ain't going to change nothing in New Rochelle, in Mount Vernon, and Yonkers, because they're local police departments.
So I want to, before you say anything, Damon, I'm gonna post Bob's comment. I want to address it real quick. If the Palestinian people should be our primary consideration in determining who to vote for in November and whether we should vote at all, then we ought to seriously weigh the impact of foreign policy either policy would institute. Failure to consider the consequences of that decision is to put one's feeling about the party above the question of what position a Democrat or Republican administration will take with the respect to the Palestinians, Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So before we even get into all of that, the majority of this conversation, when talking about this author, was talking about how what he saw over there resembled the oppression that Black people experienced here. And the fact that, and the pushback from the host of CBS News, who had a problem that he called this out because it was against the narrative the Israeli people would have you hear. And he spoke about that, and that's what the conversation was on. I think Damon might have got a little bit into the voting and stuff. But
no, but that's
not what I was talking about. No, that's not what I was talking about.
The original conversation was about the book.
Trump, I was talking about Kamala Harris.
Well, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying is this, right? Democrat or Republican, they're all bought off by the Israeli lobbyists,
and they both have supported Israel. And
they both had supported, and someone who believes and someone who strongly has faith. And if we're going to be faithful people before politics, we should stand on justice. And this is my position. This is my vote. This is my vote. And I'm not acting off of feelings. I'm acting off of scripture. This is my vote. And I'm not voting for a Republican or a Democrat. Because neither of them are acting in justice when it comes to Jesus's people. Now you could leave it or let it alone. And I'm tired when people throw Trump. So what? So what? Mount Vernon, Mount administration, whatever administration. Whatever administration. Oh, but look, Obama was the drone. They called Obama the drone president. He didn't go to war, but he killed people with drones.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to say something about that.
Right? Not only that, from what they did to Gaddafi, created a vacuum, which gave power to ISIS. Because this is our foreign policy. And our foreign policy just leads us to war. No matter who's in the seat. Because the mission of the seat of the president hasn't changed, even with a black president. But we have to have some humanity somewhere, and it seems like God and humanity has been absent in American policies, especially when it comes to foreign policy. Unless it fits our interests of power and control. Not humanity, power and control. And sooner or later, it's going to come bite us back in the ass. Because what you put out comes back to you. I don't care what aspects you put it at. And we're thinking on such a low level, we ain't even thinking like that. We just want to be on the winning team. That's why Mount Vernon looks the way it looks, because they just want to be on the winning team. Instead of putting the correct people in place to actually run the city. They'd rather be on the winning team. And now we're taking that sick ideology and we're taking it to national politics. And in reality, nobody wins. At the end of the day, don't nobody win. We're about to go into World War III.
Technically, aspects of it has already started. But I do want to say, when we were talking about Israel and Palestine, when Obama was president, they accused him with the drone strikes of creating the next level of terrorists. What do you think Israel actions in Palestine is doing? These kids whose parents and families and schools and stuff are being bombed. You're giving birth to the next generation of terrorists. That's why this situation over there's never really going to be peace in the Middle East. It's going to be an ongoing situation. But we don't look at it like that. But we accused Obama. They accused the very people that have a problem with this, accused Obama of creating the next generation of terrorists with all the drone strikes.
Yeah, him and the war dog Hillary Clinton. Let's remember, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. She was a part of the whole thing with Libya. Remember when all the American soldiers got killed in Libya? Hillary. See, we forget so quick. And they did that, and they took out Gaddafi. They made these lies about Gaddafi, which wasn't true. Anybody that knows Black history, anybody knows about the African Union, know that the lies that they told about Gaddafi wasn't true. And they wanted Gaddafi because Gaddafi was going to take his oil and move it off the American standard. And his next step was to do the United States of Africa.
And get out of the euro and create the African
Exactly. Exactly. And create a whole African economy. And they killed him. Between the United States and France. So, we got to understand the history of our own country and dealing with countries out there. And then you wonder why they don't like us, because we are trying to dictate how other countries run. And then we try to do it with money and buy them. That's when Kamala Harris went out there as vice president to them African countries and was telling them that they have to honor the LGBTQ community, and they told us she got to leave. We're trying to dictate democracy in other countries. How do we do that? Who are we to do that? That's like me coming in your house telling you how to live in your house. And if you don't live in your house the way I tell you to live in your house, you're not going to get this money I got. And that's what America does.
Oh, we can take the house from you and give it to somebody else.
Right. Or, exactly, they'll take the house from you, or give somebody else some money, and next thing you know, you'll be watching CNN, and then there's a coup, and you got to flee because they done gave the head of the army some money to kill you. There already been books written about all that foolishness. And I remember, Venezuela, Chavez. That was his name for Venezuela. When he stood at the UN and called out Bush for trying to assassinate him.
Hugo Chavez, the former president of Venezuela.
Yeah. And at that time, Citgo Gas was a Venezuelan company, direct gas company, Citgo, and he made a point to make sure that those gas stations, if we remember, was all in Black communities. And then when we had an oil crisis, Chavez sent oil to Harlem. See, but these are American enemies. Fidel Castro, when he came, he went to Harlem. We have to begin to learn our history and where we are in this fight in this fight for freedom, justice, and equality, because we're really losing it. Even with all our education, we're really losing it. We're making up new Black history. That don't even match the actual struggle that we had in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't know. We got to get it together, man. And we got to learn how to do for ourselves. Till we do for ourselves, we're going to be dependent on everybody.
Well, until next week.
And don't let these over-marketed employees called athletes think that they're living the American dream. Stop being fooled by social media. Most people that's flashing stuff is broke. I'm done.
So this has been another episode of Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 410, giving you real talk for the community since 2014. Again, last week, the advertised in the paper for the 10-year anniversary this week. You see the banner. You want to make a donation to help keep the show going, keep it free for the people. Hit us up. Until next week, peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not